Hey guys, welcome back. It's Grim Reaper coming at you for another video for Shadows. Hopefully you're doing well and having a great week. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day as well. We're going to talk about in today's video about 5 champions that need an insane buff in Raidshadowlegends, buffs that affect all of us, free to play, low spend, and everything else, even Krakens as well, I guess. So go ahead, go get yourself a cup of tea, put your feet up, and let's get into this and see what we can come up with. So I've got 5 champions, I've picked them out, and these are 5 champions that we all can access that need a buff. And I'm going to explain to you why and what I've changed in this video, and the changes that I think are necessary. Some of these champions are still quite fairly good in Raidshadowlegends, and I will tell you where they are mainly commonly used and why I feel like they need to be buffed, and taking them out of the more niche and making them a bit of a better champion. These champions are still fairly good for mid-game players, etc. But when you get to in-game player like myself, then that could be a bit of a problem. They're not getting to teams, etc. So let's talk about the 5 champions that we got. So I'm going to start with our favorite faction, or one of our favorite factions anyway, which is going to be Skinwalker. And I'm going to talk about Cleo. Cleo is a champion who is a fantastic champion. She's received a buff before. I think she's received 2 buffs before, and we can all access her after playing Raidshadowlegends for 9 months. Now, you might agree with me, might disagree with me. Let me know down in the comments, or a champion maybe I forgot about and I haven't included in this list, and why you feel like they need a buff. Anyway, so getting into A3, what I feel is wrong about this champion is just the slight changes I'd make. The 2 changes I'd make is the Hex and the increased accuracy ability is not with the crit cap ability. So if they change this and put the critical rate and the critical damage buff with the increased accuracy and then the Hex as well, then this would make a kit a lot better. Also, it is worth pointing out that this would make her fantastic for Hydra, and they should do some type of soul event for her so we can at least get a level 4 or 5. I don't see the problem in giving a level 5 this champion. Wouldn't make her insane for P versus P as much. Another change I'd make to her kit is she needs a multiplier buff. Now, I think she's got 1 godlike ability and the rest hit fairly strong, but it's just not good enough in today's meta. Now, I do feel like she does need to just be juiced up a little bit, and player can easily do that. I think putting an increased attack into her kit as well, so she wouldn't need like an arbiter or something like that, would be pretty nice. And then I guess I wouldn't really add like a stone skin ability, but ignoring shields or unkillable or something like that, or given like a killable buff would make a top tier as well for P versus P content, like lower level live arena and lower level classic arena and 3 versus 3 as well. Would that still be enough for me? Probably not for my account, but she does need a bit of a buff there. The AoE weaken, by the way, is the single weaken as well. I wish that was kind of AoE, but I think that's maybe going a bit too far with my desires in it. So she's going to make number 4. She's a good champion overall, but she could definitely needs a bit more use. She's mainly a Hydra champion right now and P vs P, but I just feel like people just get her a bit too late to really have impact. Faction Wars as well, fantastic as well. So we're going to go to another champion who is actually a nuker as well, and is Spear. And one time she was a fantastic nuker, and it's my first ever legendary on my account. Again, everyone can access her through one of the shops. I think it is the clan shop, if I'm not mistaken. And we can access her within the first 90 days as long as you can get enough gold bars to get her fragments. Then that's fairly good enough to get her. Now, she was originally used in a Wixwell team that's just been nerfed, so she's kind of lost her niche. And again, she's not really used anywhere, and Stone Skin has kind of pulled her out of her meta as well. So I feel like her buffs need, again, a multiplier increase. I think this one's average and this one is godlike. UDK kind of hurt a disability. So what I would like to see on Yannica is maybe a bit of a speed increase attack increase here as well. And then just added a stone skin ability, like allowing her to ignore a certain percentage of her target defense and a certain percentage of ignore stone skin as well. So she does have a shield ability here, which is still quite fairly good. Does need accuracy to require to move it, and it can hit fairly hard, so it will be good against zone champions still. But this ability here just needs to be granted some a bit extra for it to work a bit more. After that, AoE is pretty nice here as well on the E1. Again, I wouldn't change this. I wouldn't make it too insane, but I would like to see this ability and her base stats just improved overall, and then just make her a bit more accessible for live arena in general. She is a good champion overall in early game clan boss, when you first start playing the game, but you know, it's a very niche ability here. Again, with the leech. And then I guess after that, she doesn't really be used other than arena content. There's just much better nukers out there now, including Sung Wong, who a lot of people have, and then Ronda as well, which causes her issues. And again, 4 has just been released recently as well. So mid-game account, late-game accounts, and early-game accounts don't really have like a strong desire to use her. She is still great for faction wars, and she's great for nightmare farming as well, and campaign. So again, she does have a lot of use. I did beat 12-6 with her in Paragon because she's able to put the veils up, and then Paragon is sitting there with the unkillable buff overall. Again, definitely needs a buff. Now, this champion doesn't need Zac like a crazy buff. I don't know how I would change her, but she is a great champion for like early game. I do kind of feel now people get her a bit late, and that's Cleopterix. Now, Cleopterix is a fantastic champion overall, but with intercept moving into arena quite high up in like 5 in gold 5 arena, insane champions like Armads etc are making the meta quite hard. She's a great champion for P versus E content like Doomtower waves, Dragon waves, and again faction wars. But after that, when you start becoming late game, she drops off very quickly. Now what I would like to see is maybe I would just buff this ability here and make it like a multi-hitter of a 3-turn multi-hitter, something like similar to a Gina, and then add a freeze. So this would make her quite actually viable for finite hard. Like definitely this would be, I think, a big great move. She does have a nice heal here, and then she would be able to help out of the waves with this stun ability. And then I'd probably make this passive ability a bit stronger as well. So yeah, I think that just changing her A1 would make her a lot more accessible and a bit more in-game for most people. I'm not asking for insane. I just think that this just needs a bit of a buff so we can use this in Finite, and that would make her very hard. A lot of people still struggle in Finite because they don't have a G-Nut. I guess number 2 is actually the same faction, and again we all can access him, but it takes a lot of work, and that's going to be Crohnam. Crohnam is a fantastic champion early game and mid game progression, mainly in Spider with his AoEs and HE burns. Also fantastic against Torment with Samuel as well for Hydra. Again for normal and hard. I do use him time to time when their accounts do have him. He's got fantastic skins overall, but this guy does need a bit of a buff. I would say he needs something similar to our Artak with enemy max HP ability here, and maybe even make him a bit better than what Artak is right now. And then again, probably buff his epic version as well. So like she can have like a passive, like a Samuel, where you're not needing that Samuel to kind of help. And then this would help with all of the drama within Hydra, etc. And then this would just be a very solid kit. I would improve his base stats a little bit as well to keep him alive, and Plarium could also do it like a Titan event with him to make his make him more desirable, right? Like if you could get him at any time you want, even if you didn't have him, you can access him anytime you want. You just be able to grind him out. Even if you don't have a computer, you can ask someone that you do know has a computer to help you out. Reach out to a content creator, see if they're willing to help you out. They just have to do a couple of downloads. You need an email address. It's very simple. Probably not a big content creator. I'll probably aim at one of the small ones. There's plenty of them on Twitch. etc. you can find to kind of help you out with this. I know some people who also would take cash to do these things and get you that champion as well. And then first place, we all can access him again, and he hasn't been in the game long, and it would actually be meta quite 2 years ago. And you would have seen me speak about him a lot, and that's Quintus. Quintus has like a godlike ability on these 2 abilities, and these 2 abilities are fantastic. He does need a slight buff, so what I'll do is I'd allow this to ignore Stone Skin instead of trying to remove it. I would allow it to ignore the Stone Skin, so he could nuke, a bit similar like Georgie. He is very squishy, so I'd probably add like a inkillable buff into his ability, or I would add like a block damage buff where he puts it on himself on the team. And then again, he does have like this, so I'd probably make this a critical rate buff as well, so you could build him 70% critical rate. And then I would up the multipliers of this as well, and then maybe give it like a kind of a 50% chance of ignoring Stone Skin, because if you give it a 100% chance, it would be pretty insane. Bear in mind, you don't have to like improve his multipliers if they didn't if they allowed this to ignore, but everyone can access this guy, and this would make a gold free way more desirable to reach a lot faster for a lot of people. He's already fantastic in finite hard. He's great with this ability here. He's fantastic in Hydra right now as a single damage dealer as well with this ability and this ability. It's kind of a bit hard to use him if you don't have high level blessings, but he is fantastic overall. I don't know if he'll be very good after the Hydra buff. We would have to see, and it'll be someone I will be testing to see if there's any improvements also. I do use this champion myself in Siege, but that's only time because I got better nukers on him. But if they did do a couple of buffs I mentioned in his kit, I would definitely consider using him pretty much like quite consistently overall. So he does need some type of survivability in today's meta, and he needs some type of way to nuke through Stone Skin. Maybe even offer a block revive maybe to kind of throw it in. Everyone has to do a lot of work. He's meant to be very, very strong. I know he sounds very OP from what I'm mentioning and what I'm recommending for Raid to do, but you know, you put a lot of work in. You want a strong champion, right? You want the desire to use him. This would make him great in Platinum Push as well. This would make him great in Platinum Arena, Gold 5 Arena. He's Void Affinity, so you'd only need to build up 1 or 2 solid nukers on your account if your gear is short. If you don't have a lot of Savage or Merciless or whatever, Stone Skin, whatever, then it could be a good viable. Also, Siege would be way more desirable, and he'd still be great in Finite as well. And then Hydra, hopefully he will be, and the 3 vs 3 arena. He is meant to be P vs P champion, so hopefully they do buff him at some point. I think that's it for today's video. It's a quick one from me. Hopefully you enjoy this type of content. If you do, please remember to like, comment, subscribe. I've been Grim. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.